Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. So before we start the discussion on the current lab sheet, any questions on the previous lab sheet and on filter design? Yeah, it's good time or right time for you people to ask. If you have any questions, especially in doing lab sheet, of course, in general on the filter design, FA design by windowing. So no questions? Okay, so I assume there are no questions. So I will start the discussion on the current lab sheet. Okay, so today's lab sheet is on multi-rate signal processing. So where we would like to upsample and downsample and use both upsample and downsample as well for effective communication. It can be either for better communication or for storing compactly and in any other application. Usually what happens is in many of the audio signals and video signals, they are recorded at one sampling rate, but the recorded sampling rate may not be always advisable for either for transmission or storage or for like compatibility between different devices. For example, audio usually at what rate do they sample? Any answers on this? What is the sampling rate of the audio signals?
Around 8,000. 8,000.
What's that? Huh?
Around 8,000. Around 8,000.
Okay, 8,000 hertz is very lower sampling rate. So most of the times they do sample at 44 kilohertz, 44 kilohertz, 22.1 kilohertz, and so on. For communication purposes, they will downsample to 8 kilohertz and then communicate or transmit the audio signals. The reason being, usually many of the devices, including cameras, smart cameras, and many of the recording devices, we would like to have the initial recording with very high quality. Subsequently, for transmission, if we need, okay, we may need only perceptual quality. So there onwards, only perceptual qualities may be important. After transmission, again, after communication and transmission, at the receiver, they will receive the signal and they may wish to reconstruct and play also sometimes. So even if you see, for example, your image downloads now and then, you may see pixelated download initially and then more fine downloading and so on. So they may send in different packets and they may use it for the fine or the high resolution image in image processing. Whereas in audio processing, they may send only say 8 kilohertz signal or a downsampled version of the original recording of the recorded version of the signal, audio signal. And they may wish to upsample sometimes to better play in some of the devices. Sometimes even the compatibility also makes sampling rate conversion almost important or necessary. So how I just want to know before I discuss on this topic, those whoever have no bandwidth issues, I suggest you people to on the videos so that you can immediately answer me. This class also will be of discussion nature. The reason being, though multi-rate signal processing might be there very vaguely in some of your BTechs, but it's I don't think it will be of the order that's required for doing the lab sheet. So I will be discussing some content which may or may not be discussed in your course now and even in your BTech. So for that reason, I require or suggest very quick responses from you people so that I also understand whether you people are following or not, and also you can participate or actively participate in question answers and understanding. So first of all, before I start, so how many of you are familiar with multi-rate signal processing? Raise hand here. Yeah, preferably on your videos in case no bandwidth issues, and then raise hand either electronically or directly. Okay, so you are familiar or not familiar? Sai Ramesh?
Sir, it's Sriram Ramesh, sir.
Yes, Sriram Ramesh. Okay. Sai,
Sir, I entered a little late, so can you repeat the question, please?
yeah, I have asked how much familiar are you? Are you familiar or not? So those you can raise the hand, those who are familiar. Okay, so that I can calculate the number of students who are not familiar. Okay, I have seen here two hands. So assuming that two of you are familiar, remaining all are not familiar. So I will anyway start from scratch roughly on this discussion. So those who are familiar, I suggest you people to answer even faster on the discussion that we have. Okay. So first of all, why do you need multi-rate signal processing? Give me little more details. So whichever context you know, I suggest you people to tell. Multi-rate signal processing means sampling rate conversion. See, sampling rate conversion can be done in two ways. One way is while sampling itself, one can sample. At a given rate, some will sample, but the given sampling rate or the initial sampling rate may not be all the times opt to use. So there is a, say if I sample at some rate, so NS for example, and the RFS, the next sampling, the other sampling rate that is of importance for me in usage is FS dash. Okay, and FS dash and S dash may not be same. Okay, so now the question, now I have already sampled it. I have a discrete signal at my hand. Okay, so I want to convert the sampling rate of this discrete signal. Okay, there are two of this sampling rate conversion. Can one of you tell, can any of you tell both of them?
Interpolation followed by decimation.
Okay, so interpolation followed by decimation is in some sense a procedure for sampling rate conversion from the discrete signal or from continuous signal. From discrete signal or continuous signal? Not able to hear.
Discrete signal.
Right, from the discrete signal. So this is one way of sampling rate conversion. I can do interpolation followed by decimation or decimation followed by interpolation. We will see that terms and also more details on which has to be done first, which can be done less, which has to be done later and so on. Okay. So is there any other procedure? So I have already discrete signal at my hand, but I need the discrete signal again. What's the other answer? Can you repeat, please? Or what's the answer? I have actually a signal at TS. Okay, I want TS dash. Okay, what is the procedure? We can, no other answer. So we can do either in discrete, directly from discrete domain to discrete domain, or first we can convert it to continuous time. And then we have actually continuous time signal. And since the continuous time signal is there with us, you can change to any other sampling rate, is it not? So you can again resample with TS dash. That is the other way of doing. So one is directly using, say, from the discrete signal, do a kind of, okay, say if I want to make some sampling rate conversion, you manage to do directly, completely in discrete domain. The other way of doing it is you bring back to continuous domain. From there, you sample it in whatever sampling rate you wish to. Okay, that's the second procedure. Among these two procedures, okay, which is more welcome? Any ideas on this? So I can either do this or that, but which is more? So what are the merits and demerits of these things? Any idea on this? Okay. So discrete to discrete, especially when we want to do, the advantage is that we have actually whole processing is in discrete domain or discrete signal. So the filters or whatever, essentially we apply in each of these processing. Okay, sampling rate conversions, we need to apply filters. We will see the reason why the filters are necessary to apply. But filter design is very essential. In fact, 1 or 2 times of we need to apply filters. Okay, at least 1 time we need to apply filter. Okay, while doing this process. So filter design can also be done in discrete time, and whole process can be done in discrete to discrete domain or more elegantly done. So this is one advantage. But the disadvantage is that discrete to discrete sometimes may need very increasing sampling rate to very high and low and so on. So that aspect can be little more effectively done if we bring it to the continuous domain. But if we want to bring it to the continuous domain, again, the filtering or the like analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter, both has to come into play. So this is another blocks that are added are A to D converter and D to A converter. So which may be of reasonably costly compared to directly doing whole thing in discrete domain. So let's see now the procedure involved. So I will take some of the examples for understanding the sampling rate conversion first. Once we understand a little bit on the sampling rate conversion, so how the sampling rate can be converted, we will see actually how to do it in the discrete domain itself. So we will not be discussing much, bringing back to continuous time domain and then discrete domain, because it's relatively little costlier and it can be avoided with the good advantage like flexibility to design discrete filters. So we will discuss on discrete to discrete domain sampling rate conversion itself. But however, we will bring in the concepts from continuous time signal and frequency domain representation of continuous time signals, because they will form the basics for or the underlying principles for understanding even this. So before we do that, so any examples or instances, where do you think the sampling rate conversion is of importance? Other than which I have mentioned, or including what I have mentioned. So you can mention a couple of examples where you need the sampling rate conversion. Is the importance of sampling rate conversion clear or not?
Sir, compression.
Compression, okay, very good. So if you want to compress, we need to anyway usually represent with small sampling rate. And then we want to decompress or uncompress, there we need more sampling rate. Fine. So in fact, most of the hardware devices as well. Okay, so H.264, that's for I think video. But many audio video codecs, so they also have actually this kind of internally, they have the sampling rate conversion done at reasonable times. Yeah. Okay. Any other instances? Compression is one thing, and then transmission is one thing, which are very important and widely applied operations. The third one is also on the compatibility. Sometimes what may happen is, in fact, analog devices and so on are too much particular about the compatibility, because so previously now many of the adapters are universal and so on. So previously many things are not universal. So if you buy one TV, okay, and your adapter is of different nature, okay, it will not at all work. So there is a now adapter is inbuilt, so we are not bothered about it. But previously they're all outside. So similarly, these adapters, what they do is essentially they will convert the transmitted picture rate to the picture rate that it can, or sampling rate at which the TV can display. Similarly, the voice also. So they will adapt to the not just the power aspects, but also on the signal aspects, video and audio quality, and transceiver they will receive as well as again show or picturize. So they will uncompress and so on there. So these were the operations. So let's now discuss a little bit more on the theoretical front on multi-rate signal processing. So first of all, before I start further discussion on it, what's upsampling and downsampling, interpolation and decimation? So there are 4 terms which you might have heard. So you people can, few of you tell. So what's the difference between, say, first of all, downsampling and decimation? Any idea on that?
So when
Let's start from downsampling and then let's move on to the decimation. Yeah, what's downsampling?
Removing some samples.
Hmm.
I mean, removing some samples from the existing samples.
Okay, that's true. So and then decimation means any idea? I'm just trying to log in from the iPad as well. Yeah, decimation means okay. So downsampling followed by filtering or pre-filtering and then downsampling is decimation. We will see that. So let's first understand downsampling and upsampling. I am sharing the screen. Okay. So let's first understand downsampling and upsampling, and then understand interpolation and decimation. Okay. So assume that just to take understand them better, let's take an example of for upsampling and downsampling. Then we will see how to do that. So what's the consequences in the frequency domain? And then we also try to understand, okay, how essentially we can do sampling rate conversion. The idea initially is we have actually at say the initial sampling rate is TS, and we want to get the sampling rate to TS dash. Okay, so that this is the sampling period. Similarly, Fs is initial sampling rate if we assume. Okay, and Fs dash is what is the sampling rate after conversion. So in some cases, what can happen? This can be directly say Fs is equal to Fs dash equal to 2 times Fs. Okay, or it can be say Fs dash equal to Fs by 2. So it is just simply increasing the sampling rate or decreasing the sampling rate. Okay, so in some cases it may be a little more complex. Fs dash can be equal to say 3 by 2 times okay Fs. That is both increasing the sampling rate and decreasing the sampling rate, both may be involved. Okay, so for example, if I have initial sampling rate of 44.1 kilohertz, okay, and then if we subsequently need to go into 8 kilohertz, okay, so it's very difficult. So we may need to do increase and decrease of sampling rate just to understand a little more easily. So if we initially start with at least say, for example, say 40 kilohertz, just to have a better ease of understanding. So initially we start with 40 kilohertz being the sampling rate of an audio signal. Okay, and we want to go to 8 kilohertz. Then what should we do? This implies Fs is, this is assume that Fs and this is Fs dash. Then Fs dash equal to what? Fs dash equal to, in terms of Fs,
Fs by 5.
that's all. Okay, we are only decreasing the sampling rate. Usually decreasing the sampling rate is referred to as, okay, is referred to as decimation or downsampling. Okay, so decimation also has downsampling plus something. So let's now call it as downsampling. So if we have initially Fs, if I downsample by m, then what the Fs dash is equal to Fs by m. Sorry, Fs by m. Sampling frequency is decreased by m times. see essentially what is happening. If you see there is a, for all these purposes, for all the discussion, throughout the discussion, okay, assume that we have an underlying continuous time signal. Even though we operate the sampling rate conversions, we can operate sampling rate conversions in the discrete domain. Okay, we need to assume that there is an underlying continuous time signal, or we, in fact, all the theories built upon that there is an underlying continuous time signal. Okay, and from that only the better understanding of what we are doing can come to us. See if there is some signal like this. Okay, so initially what has happened? So they have sampled at some sampling rate. That means, see, what does Fs indicate? What does Fs indicate? A quick answer is welcome. So if this is initial sampling rate is Fs, what does it mean?
FS samples are taken per second.
Very good. Fs samples per second. Okay, it means that Fs samples are taken per second, right? Now, what we need is, say, initially we have taken 40,000 samples per second. Now, what we need is only 8,000 samples per second. Okay, so what does it mean now? So Fs dash now is actually downsample version of Fs is what I'm saying here. Okay, but what essentially is, say, 8 samples, 8 kilohertz means, say I need only 5 times lesser number of samples per second. Is it not? Fs dash equal to Fs by 5 indicates that in this case, I need 5 times lesser number of samples per second. Is this fine? In Fs dash. That means that for each of the 5 samples, I will be taking one sample. So if this is Fs, if I consider Fs dash equal to Fs by 5, then for each 5 samples, I will be taking 1 sample. Okay. So, or Fs by 2, to easily understand, let's start with Fs dash equal to Fs by 2. So what I'm doing now, so I am taking now for each 2 samples, one sample. Or in other words, previously if Ts is my sampling period, okay, I'm writing with this, Ts is my sampling period. That means my sampling interval is 1 millisecond. Assume that previously. So I'm just giving a number for ease of understanding. Okay. So now assume that I am now, if I sample at 1 millisecond, I'm getting 40,000 samples per second. Okay. So now what I need to do is I'm decreasing the sampling rate by 2 times. Okay. So it means that what, for the sampling period will be sampling period. Ts dash will be equal to what? So I'm increased, say previously I'm taking 1 milliseconds, one sample for 1 millisecond. Okay, with that sampling period, okay, I am taking actually 8,000 or like 40,000 samples per second. Okay, so now if I decrease the sampling rate by 2 times, that is 20,000 samples per second if I am taking for the same signal. Okay, so then the duration of the sample will become what? Will become
2 milliseconds.
Will be 2 milliseconds. Is it not? So previously I was sampling for each 1 millisecond. Now I will be doing for each 2 milliseconds. Okay. So in fact, this will determine the number of samples per second. If I'm taking 1 millisecond, implies that, okay, the sampling rate is Fs is equal to 1 kilohertz here. Okay, it's not 40 kilohertz. Is it not? And 2 milliseconds Fs dash indicates that if it is equal to 0.5 kilohertz. Is it not? I will get 500 samples per second. Right? R is equal to 0.5 kilohertz. Okay. So essentially what this indicates is that, so if I'm increasing the, if I'm increasing the sampling rate, okay, I am taking more frequently the samples. If I'm decreasing the sampling rate, I am taking less frequently the samples in the same duration, or in the on the same underlying continuous time signal. Okay, so what is common for both of them is underlying continuous time signal. In the same signal, I am taking less frequently or more frequently per second based on the sampling rate I decide upon, right? So now downsampling operation essentially what it does, if I downsample by 2, we are taking alternative samples essentially. It means that the sampling TS dash is now increased by 2 times. Okay, so downsampling by m times indicates that the TS dash is equal to what in terms of TS? If I consider TS is the initial sampling period, okay, then TS dash is equal to, if I downsample by m, TS dash equal to
M into TS.
m into TS. Okay, so this is what essentially is happening in downsampling. Okay, so initially if I have actually 8 kilohertz, okay, if I downsample by 2 times means 4 kilohertz is what the signal I get. Okay, so by sampling rate, by downsampling, the sampling frequency will change and the duration in which I sample will change. Okay, right. Now let's see, say the other side of it. So now if I upsample, what happens? So if you want to sketch on the same thing, if I upsample it, what happens? Say assume that if I want to upsample by 2 times now. Also, so I assume that I have actually initially Fs. Okay, upsampling is denoted by the symbol L is the symbol used for upsampling rate at which I am upsampling. Okay, and then this is Fs dash. If I upsample, what will happen? Say if I want to upsample by 2 times. Same again. So initially TS equal to 1 millisecond. Okay, and I want to upsample by 2 times. What does it mean? Upsample by 2 times means what number of samples per second I want to increase by 2 times. So Fs dash is equal to 2 times Fs. Is this fine? If I increase the number of samples per second to 2 times, then what is the time duration of sampling? Ts dash.
0.5 milliseconds.
Yeah, 0.5 milliseconds. Okay, in addition to the previous samples where I have. Okay, I'm taking additional samples. They're all the additional samples. Okay, so of course, these are also there. Please note that. So I am not sketching them, but they're also there. So it means that Ts equal to 0.5 milliseconds. Okay, so it means that, so Ts dash is equal to what now? Ts dash equal to what? Ts
by 2.
Ts by 2 in this case, but in general, in this example, it is Ts by 2. But if I upsample by L times, then it will be L times here, and then L times, or in this case, it is Ts by L, right? So this is the consequence of downsampling and upsampling. This we have seen only in the time domain. Okay, we have not seen what happened or what happens in the frequency domain. See, usually what happens is, see if I give you a signal. So now assume that this is just another example or more specific example. So we assume that we are given a signal. It's a finite duration signal. Since this is a discrete signal, I assume that this already has come from a continuous time signal. Okay, that information is not given here, but it's there. So you're not able to see the shared screen now. Oh, fine, it's coming. Okay. Okay, so now what we want to do is, so we want to say for the same signal, I want to sketch what happens if I downsample by 2. Okay, I want to sketch what happens if I upsample by 2. First, I want to understand in time domain more clearly, and then we'll move on to the frequency domain. Yeah, just a minute.
Sir, audio was off, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So let's write the upsampled version and downsampled versions of the signal, given signal. So let this be, say, given the heights are given here. Fine. So now what's the downsampled version of the signal? Can you quickly tell? One of you quickly tell.
0, 2, 4.
Right, very good. Okay, so simply what we do is we take the alternative signals. Why are we taking alternative samples? We are taking alternative samples and writing here. But why are we taking alternative samples? What's the intuition in it?
Because we are downsampling by factor of 2.
Yeah, I understand. But why are we just taking alternative samples? See, downsampling by 2.
The downsampling by 2 means we are taking alternate samples, right?
Yeah, that's okay. So that's procedure. Okay, but I'm asking what's the main reason for it?
Integer values, sir.
Okay, why integer values? See, I want to downsample by, okay, the 1.5 times. Then what do I do?
Upsample by 3 and then downsample by
Okay,
3.
fine. That I will do later. Okay, but now I can't do anything. Is it not? So what I'm doing here is, see, I'm assuming that as I mentioned, okay, there is an underlying signal. Okay, so with the limited knowledge or with the samples I have in mind are given here. And downsampling by 2 means what? See, say if TS is the time period here, initial samples, for the initial samples, this TS is from where? With respect to what? This is with respect to continuous time signal, x of t. Okay, so I have got already x of n, but this x of n has got from x of t. Okay, there is an underlying idea on that or assumption on that. From there, I am trying to downsample. So what's that now? The time period here is TS dash is equal to 2 times TS. Okay, because I am taking actually previously if the number of samples per second or say some whatever 1000, now I will only have half of them. That means the time duration of sampling is increased by 2 times. Okay, so that is there. So hence I have this. Because of this, what I have now, x downsampled version of n is equal to, okay, x of say original n to t. Oh, in sense that actually into, say here, it's into, if it is m times, okay, in this case, it is 2 into n or 2n. But if m is the downsampling rate, it is m into n. Is it not? Why this comes? Why does this come? Because when you do, say here also x of t is the same signal is underlying. Okay, but the TS is now changed. So you know that for a continuous time signal, xc of t, if you have, from here if you apply sampling, so s of t is equal to what? Xc of nt or nts. Is it not? Xc of nts. Yes or no? So this, where does this nts? TS is a continuous variable, but we have fixed a value for it. Okay, and at that location we are taking sample. Now what has happened? This has varied due to downsampling. TS to TS dash. It has been varied from TS to TS dash. Okay, by downsampling. But still same continuous time signal is there with us. Xc of n TS dash comes into picture. Okay, thus compared to say previous, if this is x of n, okay, and this is equal to now what? X of previously x of n, xc of n TS in 2 into nts. Is it not? Given that TS dash equal to 2 times TS. Okay, and hence this comes as x of 2n. This whole thing is there when we are writing, okay, when we are taking alternative samples. Okay, we are just taking alternative samples, fine. Okay, but the underlying theory is this. Okay, same underlying continuous time signal is there. And in that, the sampling period is increased by twice, and hence the corresponding samples I pick, okay, the or alternative or the relation from x of n to x d of n, downsample version of n is x of, okay, 2 into n, or in general, okay, in general x of m into n. Okay, for a downsampling of by m times. I hope this is clear. This discussion is clear. Okay, if I downsample by 3 times, then m becomes 3. I will take actually for each 3 samples, one sample from here to there, right? I hope this is clear. Now let's move on and write the upsampled version of it. So what's the upsampled version? Now I want to upsample by 2 times. So what should we write?
0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, and up to 4.
Okay. So just let me write. So 0.
0.5.
Okay, I will write 0.5 later. But initially assume that I have only this signal with me.
Then it would be 0, sir.
0. Okay, then it will be 0.
0. Okay, and then 1. Okay, and then again 0. And then again 2, 0, again 3, 0, again 4. Okay, what did we do in this operation? What did we do is we just increased. What did we do in this operation? Upsampling by 2.
We had doubled the samples.
That's all. Okay, number of samples per second are doubled. Okay, number of samples per second are doubled. Okay, please note that. So if we see the total duration, the previously it was covering say 0.2 milliseconds. Assume that. Okay, or say 5 milliseconds. Assume that it is covering 5 milliseconds. Okay, so now do you think that this covers 10 milliseconds? Or this covers only 2.5 milliseconds? What's that? What is the answer? Do you think the time duration at each of these signals cover, is it different or same?
It will be different, sir.
Okay, any other answers?
Sir, the total duration should remain the same for the signals. The samples
Yeah.
have increased. Or...
Right. Time duration they cover is exactly same. Is it not? They are exactly same. Okay, what is different is the number of samples per second is only different. Okay, the number of samples we take in a given duration is different, but the time duration they cover is same. Okay, so this is also 5 milliseconds. Okay, and this is also 5 milliseconds. Okay, so that's what is this. That's where you have actually in between zeros here, because we are sampling more, like from the discrete signal itself. If we want to bring in more samples per second, okay, so directly what are we doing? We are just putting in between zeros, that's all. Okay, there are samples, but those samples we don't have value from the discrete signal x of n, and hence we are putting 0 values there. Okay, so the operation here is referred to as x of n by 2. Okay, our x upsampled version, or x u of n is equal to x of n by 2. Okay, so here what we are doing is, wherever this n is in the original signal, if you have actually, say for example, x of it's a fraction, means you don't have the value here. Okay, if it is not a fraction, means you pick the same value from the original signal and put it, okay, at that location and put it. Hope this is clear. So the expressions indicating that x d of n is equal to x of mn, and x upsampled version of n is equal to x of n by l. Okay, in general are also clear to you all. I hope this is clear. If it's not clear, please ask me. So in case if this, what does this indicate is x u of n is equal to x of n by l if, okay, n is multiple of, okay, k times l, integer multiple of l, 0 else. Explicitly writing, this is what we write. Is this clear? Are the things clear up to here? Okay. So now let's see in the frequency domain what happens. Again, I see none of you. I hope you people answer. Okay. So from the continuous time signal xc of t to sample signal x of n, can one of you tell the relation? What's the relation between x frequency domain representation of this versus this? X of e power j omega, let it be the frequency domain representation of this. Okay, and then x of j omega be the representation of this. Okay, now I want to write x of e power j omega in terms of x of omega. Oh, please, can one of you tell? Yeah, all of you are in mute or don't hear any answer. Give you a better example or better understanding. Let's recall whatever we have discussed before. Okay, if this is the minus omega naught to omega naught, okay, it's in continuous frequency, x of j omega, or continuous time Fourier transform. And if we bring into discrete Fourier transform, okay, and this axis is small omega, which is omega into capital T, or omega is equal to omega by t. Okay, so given this, what happens to the spectrum? Can one of you tell quickly? What is spectrum here? How should I sketch this small omega axis?
Minus pi to pi.
Ramesh?
Sir, actually, I'm a little confused with the question itself, like what's being asked right now. It's a little confusing.
Yeah, fine. So we are given x of j omega, continuous time Fourier transform. We are asked to sketch x of e power j omega. That's all.
Periodicity.
Yeah, it is periodic with what period?
2 pi.
Minus pi.
2 minus pi to pi.
It is periodic with minus pi to pi. Okay. And repeats at 2 pi. However, actually, if I want to write the relation between x of e power j omega and x of j omega, what's the relation?
Convolution with impulse train.
Yeah, very good. So convolution with impulse train, that's what happens in the time domain. Okay, same thing also happens in frequency domain. So while writing, let me try to write here. And if we need to account for repetition, that's one thing. Okay, and where does it repeat? So at omega, say ideally before we normalize, it repeats at omega s. Is it not in between there is an intermediate step? The intermediate step is that it first repeats at what frequencies? 0, omega s, okay, minus omega s, and so on. This is also in omega domain, but if I want to write here, I can write both domains, small omega domain as well. In this case, it is already discretized. It is spectrum of excess of e power j omega or excess of j omega, right? It is spectrum of the sampled signal. Okay, while the signal is still continuous. Okay, but it's sampled already. Because of sampling in frequency domain, okay, because of sampling in time domain, what is the consequence in frequency domain?
Periodicity.
Yeah, it periodicity. But what is the periodicity? Around omega s or okay, 2 pi by ts. Okay, which can also be in small omega if you want to write, since small omega is equal to capital omega into t. Okay, so it's equal to then it comes into minus, it repeats at okay 2 pi. So however, if I want to write in this, omega s is what the repetition, where the repetition happens, right? So here if I want to write the spectrum from x of j omega to x of e power j omega, how do I write is x. Any of you remember the expression that we write here? You people have seen this kind of expression anytime?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it essentially what happens is 1 by Ts. Okay. This normalizing term, and repetition is what this is accounted per j omega by Ts. Why we have written j omega by Ts is essentially same spectrum is what is repeating. Omega by Ts is nothing but small omega by Ts is equal to capital omega, because we want to write in terms of x of j omega, capital omega. Okay, so this omega by Ts is nothing but actually capital omega. Please make a note of it. And where it repeats at j 2 pi k by Ts. Okay, it repeats at 2 pi by Ts, which is essentially this. This is what is x of e power j omega. In fact, one period of this is what we write as x of e power j omega. Is this fine? Okay. So now what this indicates is, it indicates that it is repeating. Second thing is the each the spectrum, if you see the summation is over k in minus infinity to infinity, indicating that it repeats from minus infinity to infinity, and each spectrum spreads over. Say if the spectrum, see this sampling rate is higher than the bandwidth of the spectrum, okay, then what happens? Then within the each sampling period, only one spectrum will be there. But if sampling frequency is lesser, then there is an overlap because of the summation. Okay, so the summation essentially only indicates the periodic repetition in case if the sampling rate is higher. But if the sampling rate is smaller, then this also has the effect of aliasing. Okay, so it's implicitly conveyed all these things in this expression. Okay, so now the question, why did we bring in this is, see now what we are doing, we are downsampling here. Okay, so or sampling the sampled signal, already sampled signal. So what may happen, this also may have a similar effect. Okay, that's what we are going to see now. So in other words, so previously if the signal is x of n, okay, that's original signal, whatever we have is x of n. And if we applied a downsampling by some m times, and then the signal is x d of n, okay, which is equal to x of mn. In this case, now see Ts is equal to, Ts already is there with respect to the continuous time signal, Ts dash equal to m times Ts. Now what I want to write is, I want to write the spectrum of this signal, okay, given the spectrum of the discrete signal x of e power j omega. So if this spectrum is given, x of e power j omega is given, what is the spectrum of xd of e power j omega? That is my question. Okay, so to understand the details, okay, what we have done is we have brought in the frequency domain details of sampling. Okay, why did we bring it? Because we cannot directly, okay, we cannot directly interpret like what happens in the frequency domain if we sample a discrete signal. Because there is no concept of sampling a discrete signal. We are sampling a discrete signal means that we are sampling the corresponding continuous time signal by different sampling or different sampling frequency. That's all. Okay. So now what we want to see is we want to relate through this relation Ts equal to m times Ts. And this relation, this is the equation 1, and assume that, and this is relation 2. Given these two, we want to write what? X d of e power j omega. Okay. Hope you understand. I want to finally write in terms of x of e over j omega only. Okay, there should be something in function of x of e over j omega. Okay, and something else. But this is the equation 1 and 2 helps me as an intermediate step to write x of e power j, x d of e power j omega in terms of x of e power j omega. So any of you people who have studied multi-rate signal processing in your BTech, will you be able to tell what the expression I get here? What kind of expression?
Place omega, we will be getting omega by m.
Okay, good. What else? Oh, so repetition will happen more or not? Again, I'm yeah, not seeing many. Okay, partial answers.
Yes, repetition will be.
Yeah, repetition will happen. How many more times the repetition happens?
M times.
M times the repetition. M more times the repetition happens. Okay. So ideally the sampling effect is to have the repetition. Here we are sampling infinite times. Okay, you have the whole continuous time signal sampling infinite times. Whereas here, what are we doing? We are sampling only if you consider only a particular like sampling period. In that sampling period, you are sampling actually lesser times or more times. Okay, so consequence to that, what happens? The repetition also happens. Okay, and then the spectrum also will get affected by that. So let's see how does it affect. So let's first denote by T dash, because you know that the sampling rate conversion is like current sampling rate is Ts dash. Okay, so if we substitute Ts dash here, what you have is x of j omega by Ts dash, say like minus j 2 pi k by Ts dash. Is this clear? What I did here from here to here, I have simply replaced Ts by Ts dash. Why did I do that? Just because the sampling rate here in the downsampled signal is different than the original signal x of e power j omega. Okay, previously it is Ts. Okay, now it is Ts dash. Fine. So now, however, I know the relation between Ts and Ts dash. I would like to put it here. Okay, and then I want to expand further. Okay, in terms of the x of e power j omega. Okay, that's what we can do. So I will very briefly do that. 1 by m times Ts. Is this fine? M times Ts. Summation over k equal to minus infinity to infinity. Okay, x of j omega by m times Ts minus what? J 2 pi k by m times Ts. Okay, so this can be rewritten. I am not writing all the steps. Okay, I will directly write here for the benefit of time. 1 by m. Some p is equal to 0 to m minus 1. X of e power j. Okay, let me write. So if I write x of e power j by m minus 2 pi k by m. So you may be wondering on how exactly this is happening. Is this clear? How this expression comes? Not clear. Is this clear or not clear?
Not clear.
Not clear. Very good. Okay. So what happens here? I want to write this as this expression in terms of, say, for example, this k is there here, right? K, I will write it as k is a running variable from minus infinity to infinity. But what happens? This k will take actually some integer value, say in terms of in steps of m, if I see. Okay, so it takes from even for in steps of m. So it takes from minus infinity to infinity, but in between a step of m, it will take some other discrete values. Okay, it's like if I have a continuous grid kind like also like this. Also 0, 1, 2, okay, and 3, 4, and so on. If I take in steps of 2, okay, this is one step, this is one step, this is the next step, this is the next step, and so on. So k variable running from minus infinity to infinity indicates that it can take all values fine. But if I write in terms of another variable r, okay, which can only take in steps of m. Okay, so then what will happen? It can only do this, but I need to have another way, like I can break this k in terms of two variables. One variable, which is not in steps of say p, which is not in steps of m, plus another a variable which is steps of m. You understand? This k is from minus infinity to infinity. R is also from minus infinity to infinity, but p is a variable that takes only from 0 to m minus 1. Why is that? Because R covers from minus infinity to infinity in steps of m. Okay, while p covers that steps of m. Okay, 0 to m minus 1. Okay, in this step, first step of m, okay, p is covering what? 0 and 1. Okay, these two it is covering. In the second step of 1, again p is covering, okay, another 0 and 1. In the third, in minus 1 step or this side step, it is again p is covering 0 and 1. But if you see this r is covering what? These major steps, 1, 2, minus 1 and so on. Right? K is covering in this smaller discrete steps. So it will cover again from minus infinity to infinity. Is this breaking or is this split of or play of variables clear? K can go from minus infinity to infinity here. Okay, K is from minus infinity to infinity. R is also from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, but P goes from 0 to m minus 1. Then I can rewrite the K going from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, in terms of two variables, one is P going from 0 to m minus 1 and R going from minus infinity to infinity. Is this clear or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If this is clear, then what they do here is they will write K is equal to P plus R times M first. Okay. After writing this, what you do? We will split this into, so this K is being split into these two fractions. Okay. So I will write an intermediate step for the benefit of better understanding. So XSR XD of e power j omega, which is equal to, please ask in case if it is not clear. I will write here 1 by m times ts into j omega by m into ts. 2 pi k, I am writing it as what? P plus r times m. Okay, I have written like this. Fine. By m times ts. Is this clear or not? From previous step to this step, is it clear? Now one summation doesn't come, two summations will come. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. R equal to minus infinity to infinity. Okay, x of j omega by m times ts minus 2 pi into p by m times ts minus, okay, j is here also. Please make note of it. J 2 pi r by ts. Okay. So is this fine? And now what we do? What is the next step? Can one of you suggest?
It is not visible what
But
you
it's
write.
not visible. It's not visible, sir.
Fine. Okay. Let me reconnect. So I will just expand this. You just expect. Sharing the screen again. Okay, so now it's visible, right? Yes. So now what are we doing? We are just using the algebraic split operations and rewriting now in terms of P and R. Now you can see that what is the next step? What do you think I will do now? R equal to minus infinity infinity. X of j omega by m. So let me see how I write now. J omega by m by ts. Okay, minus j 2 pi r by ts. Okay, minus j 2 pi by m into p by ts. Okay, so what's this actually? This term, if you see this, assume that this term is not there. Okay, then what is this term? Huh? You people recognize it or not? You are there or not, first of all? So you are there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You people understand or not? So what I am doing here? So what's the last term? See, essentially what you have seen here. So x of e power j omega, if when we have written, there are two terms. One is what? One is the term which is on the frequency, current frequency. Second is the term which will repeat. Okay. So now what you see here? Here also there is one term which is frequency, and second one is what? It is repeating. Is it not? Same thing is again here. Now, except that what has previously you have actually omega only here. Okay, but now instead of omega, you have omega minus 2 pi by p, 2 pi p by m. This whole term is there in this. Okay, so after simplification, is it not? So, but this is again the same spectrum. So what I do now, I will use this whole thing now. I can write it as x of e power j. Instead of omega, you can consider omega dash. Okay, and that omega dash is what I am explicitly writing. Okay, this j 2 times doesn't come, only one time. Omega minus 2 pi p by m. Okay. And why I have written x of e power j omega? Because that's how the relation between x of e power j omega and x of j omega. Okay. This is still the x of, this is j omega only, whatever I have written this side. Okay. With repetition, what we get is x of e power j omega. Fine. That's what again here also. With repetition, what you have is x of e power j omega. Fine. And then the summation over p is not still taken care in this. So we explicitly write that summation over p 0 to m minus 1 terms, and then 1 by m also comes. Ts is already absorbed here. So if I explicitly write here, Ts I don't write here. Yeah, I will write 1 by Ts here. Okay, this put together is what actually the x of e power j omega term is. Is this clear or not?
Sir.
Sir, we are only a single within a single period, right? Minus pi to pi or 0 to 2 pi.
What's that?
In the last
Yeah, right. See, you now the definition of minus pi to pi and those things will vary. Now we will see how does they vary. See, whichever previously is minus pi to pi, now will become minus m pi to plus m pi. The reason being, omega axis itself through downsampling process here is being, say, stretched in the frequency domain. So omega by m means what? Previously, what is omega? Now it's omega m by m, means that previously actually if you have 5 hedges, okay, 5 by 5 hedges, it's 1 hedge only now. Okay, so like that. So there is a stretching of axis that has happened here. Okay, so that you can see now. Omega by m is essentially stretching of axis. As you know, actually 2m means it is shrink. So say in the discrete, in the continuous, sorry, in the time domain. Where you had actually x d of n is equal to x of mn, right? X of mn means what? See, the time domain signal is, there is a shrink in the time domain signal. Mn, it means shrink in the time domain signal. Each n previously is now m times n. Okay, that's essentially. Or say, sorry, it is m times n is now n. So that's the shrink. M times n is now n. That is the shrink. Okay, now in the frequency domain, it is other way. This is shrinking here, stretching there. You can consider in that way. Is that clear? Now let us see, anyway, let's understand downsampling more thoroughly this class. Upsampling and sampling rate conversion, let's understand in the next class. Okay, so let us take a frequency domain spectrum and try to see what happens when I do downsampling by 2. Is the expression clear or not? First of all, mathematical expression, to some extent at least. Is the derivation?
Yes, sir. To some extent, yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Is the derivation clear?
Yes, sir, somewhat.
Yeah, you can relook. Okay, you derive yourself. Then it will be more clear. Fine. So for time being, I assume that let's understand the expression what I have derived is the guideline for us now. To sketch the spectrum. Let's take this as the guideline and try to see how the spectrum will be for the downsampled signal. Once the spectrum of the original signal is given. Okay, so assume that the spectrum of original signal is given and try to sketch the downsampled signal spectrum. Okay, I hope this expression is clear to you. So assume that this is the spectrum. Discrete spectrum I am sketching. So x of u over j omega. And let me put, okay, pi by 2 to pi by 2. Away I am putting actually roughly some value. Okay, just to start with, this is the spectrum. So axis is small omega. Is this correct or should I sketch any more here?
Yes, omega s.
Yeah. Okay. Omega s is not shown here. I am starting with the discrete signal. I am starting with x of n. Okay. And then I am trying to apply I am downsampling by 2. Okay. And got x of 2n. Okay. Or x d of n. That's what I want to sketch. Use spectrum I want to sketch now. So I have only omega, small omega only. So now is this complete or anything else I need to sketch? I need some answers. What do you think you can tell? You need not tell the answer that I'm expecting. You can tell some answer which you feel is correct. Is this?
So can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm saying I have sketched the spectrum of x of e power j omega. Okay, is that correct? X of n is a discrete signal. Okay, and its spectrum is this x of e by j omega. I have sketched it. Is my sketch correct? Or should I modify anything or add anything?
Replicate them.
Yeah, replicate them. Where?
Like with interval 2 pi.
At
Very
2 pi.
good. Right. Okay, that I have to do. No, otherwise it's not complete. Okay, even though for some wherever it's not important to show, we don't show it, but it's there. Discretization means the repetition already is there, right? So you people know it, but you now it's important to see that as well. So now let's take this. Okay, and now what we want is we want to downsample by 2. Okay, and want to sketch the spectrum again. So let me sketch the spectrum again. Okay, my sketching, by the way, is it correctly replicating? Especially to the scale if I see. Am I correct? Let me first mark the scale. Okay, so that actually I will try to use the same scale at least for one period here. Minus pi by 2. And then this is, sorry, pi by 2, pi. Okay, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi, and then 5 pi by 2. Okay, this side is also minus pi, minus 3 pi by 2, and then minus 2 pi, minus 5 pi by 2. Okay. So now I will sketch the is this fine? Now is this fine? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I want to apply this, this expression. So let me sketch some line here just to indicate that. Okay, this is a sketch and this is expressions. Okay, so now how should I sketch is the question. So let me bring in whatever I have. So what happens here? So first of all, if we see this expression, okay, there are two things that are happening. One is omega is being omega modified to omega by m. Okay, and then there is a repetition for at, okay, and repetition at 2 pi p by m or 2 pi by m. Repetitions at 2 pi by m for p ranging from 0 to m minus 1. These many times. Okay, I have to take both these into account while sketching. Yes or no? First of all, let's take this into account. So what do I mean by omega is being like becoming omega by m? So will the axis stretch or shrink?
Stretch.
It will stretch. Okay. So now what we assume that it stretches. So let's mark the points minus pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2. No, I think I will have tough time to sketch it here. 5 pi by 2, minus pi by 2, pi, minus 3 pi by 2, and minus 5 by 2. Okay, minus 5 by 2. Right. So now it stretches. Means what? Which spectrum stretches? Now let's put this as W dash. Okay, omega dash. And this omega dash is what the scale now. So it is a stretch of by 2. So what happens? The spectrum now, if I sketch the original spectrum, this where to where?
Minus pi to pi.
Minus pi to pi. This is fine. And then where does it shift? After stretching, okay, where does it shift?
Shift as in repeat, sir?
Shift me, repeat. Correct. Where does it repeat?
From pi.
Okay. See, previously it was repeating at 2 pi. Okay, previously you know that it is repeating at 2 pi. If the whole frequency axis is stretched, Then where do you think it repeats now?
Pi,
2
sir.
pi by n.
Huh?
2 pi
Pi.
by n.
Okay, you are giving too many answers. I am not able to.
So the next spectrum would be from pi to 2 pi.
Okay, one answer is pi to 2 pi. Okay, any other answers? No, I am not asking that. So what my question is, previously it is repeating at 2 pi. Now where will it repeat? It's say first I want to first sketch its repetition first.
Pi,
Then
sir.
bother about repetition, like I want to directly sketch this. Say if let me put. I will try to put a better figure. But now let me try to use a little bit of color things and see if I can make one side clear. This side is where we have space. So this side spectrum. Okay, like with this, this side spectrum with this color. Okay, black color. And now where this pink color will be? That's my question. Yeah, please, your answers, please.
At minus 2 pi itself, but with aliasing with center one.
Okay. Any other answers?
So it would be centered at the same points, but the stretching would happen. So the repetition will happen at pi intervals overall.
Okay, still any other answers? Where does the where does this point occur? That's my question. That's all. Where does this center of this point now? Where does this repeated pink version? Where does it come? That's my question. See, the whole frequency axis is stretched by 2. Then what happens? Then?
Is it minus 4? Minus 4 pi?
Right, that's all. So since anyway, it's all the whole frequency axis is stretched by 2, right? That's why we have gone here. Okay, minus this is now at minus pi. Is it not? So and hence what happens? The center of this, whatever you have the pink one, that will be at this location. Okay, at minus 4 pi. Okay, and from where to where it goes now? That is the next question. From where to where it goes?
Minus 3 by 2.
Minus 3 by 2 minus 5 pi. Right? Okay, so this is what is the direct one. No, but is this clear? First of all, the same spectrum x of e power j omega I have now plotted. What I have plotted so far, if I want to write, okay, it is x of e power j omega by 2. That's what I have written. Okay, so you see here, this has, if I expand, xd of e power j omega by 2 has 2 terms. xd of e power j omega by 2. Okay, in this case, if I see p equal to 0, I will write first, right? Okay, 1 by m, and I'm leaving about the constants, okay, or scales. Okay, j omega by 2, that is the first term, plus x of e power j omega minus 2 pi by 2. Yes or no? These are the 2 terms in xd of e power j omega. In this, what is the term now? X of e power j omega by 2 is what I have written now. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Can you repeat again once?
See, xd of e power j omega by the formula has 2 terms. Okay, the first term is x of e power j omega by 2. Second term is x of e power j omega. See, I am just expanding p equal to 0 and 1. Because here in this case, I am downsampling by 2, right? So here m equal to 2. So p takes values 0 and 1. Is it not? So I am taking actually here p equal to 0 and p equal to 1 here. Okay, I have put them in this expression. And I have written 1 by m is anyway there for both of them. 1 by 2 is anyway there. Okay, so let me put 1 by 2 also so that things will be much more clear. Clear? What I have sketched so far is half into this. So if this side is 1, okay, so far this side is half. This side is also half. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For others also, I am assuming it is clear.
Yes.
I'm moving forward. Yeah, now what I want to sketch is the second half. That is actually plus. Okay, so let me put in whatever colors. X of e power j omega minus 2 pi by 2. That means stretching has happened to the whole scale or whole axis. So I'm writing whole by 2, but still this shift is by 2 pi. Okay, so previously that means the after stretching, the shift is at 2 pi. Or if you see without stretching, you omega by 2 minus pi. Okay, so it's roughly in this scale, it is pi. So what this spectrum essentially, the first one, if I see blue one again, I want to sketch where the blue one goes for this. This also has blue and pink, and this also has blue and pink. Okay, where does the blue version of, any answer on this? So the green and blue together. So I am asking, where does this term come? It will center around this term, center around 2 pi. Okay, and this stretches by 2 times. So and hence this will look something like this. I will sketch with green. Okay, and similarly there is a spectrum that comes this side also. Okay, and there is a spectrum that comes this side also. It goes up to there. So what are these green things are all about? Same thing, whichever I have sketched here. This will be shifted by 2 pi and they will be there. Okay, is this clear?
So sir, this is the final spectrum of the when we decimate by 2.
Now what's that?
So when we put m is equal to 2 in the original equation, so this will be the final spectrum.
Yes, this will be the final spectrum.
Blue, green, and pink.
For j omega is the whole thing. So if I write with whatever color you think, it's the whole thing. Whatever spectrum, whole spectrum I have sketched here is xd of e power j omega. It's combination of both of them. The original spectrum stretched by 2 and the repetition of the original spectrum with a shift of 2 pi. Okay, if I have actually downsampled by 3 times, then what do you think will happen? Original spectrum stretched by 3 times and repetitions of the same spectrum, stretched spectrum at 2 pi and 4 pi. Okay, if I downsample by 5, then the repetition will happen 4 times. Okay, m minus 1 times the repetitions happen. Okay, they will start happening from 2 pi, 4 pi, 8 pi, and so on. Okay, original spectrum itself, now if you see, it is directly stretched of 2. I hope this is clear. If any one of you have any questions, you please ask. Okay, is this clear or not? Okay, I assume it is clear. I will ask a couple of questions to clarify yourself and myself whether it is clear or not. Okay, now instead of say pi by 2 here, let me take another pace. Instead of pi by 2 here, if the initial spectrum is up to say 2 pi by 3, minus 2 pi by 2, 2 pi by 3. Okay, and then if I do downsampling, what do you think will happen?
Aliasing.
Right, very good. And how much portion do you think aliasing will happen?
Pi by 3. A segment of pi by 3.
Oh, a segment of pi by 3 here and a segment of pi by 3 here will get aliasing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I am downsampling by 2 times. What is the frequency content that's not aliased? That you tell, that's easy. What is the frequency content in this signal? Okay, that don't get aliased or that's not affected by aliasing.
Uh, 0 to pi by 2.
Right, very good. Okay, so in fact 0 to pi by 2 will will not get aliased, but now it can be preserved. But now if I directly apply, it has even a serious consequence. So let me sketch anyway. So let me again try to put 3 colors. And then let's at least in this case try to put okay. So let me sketch it. This is the spectrum, right? Minus 2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3. And here also, what is the spectrum? And this is the spectrum. Okay, let me put sketch with different color. Right? And this side also, let me sketch with even different color. Okay, so now the question is, so now I want to sketch the downsampled version of the spectrum. That's all. That is the question. Well, later we will see once we sketch it, we will answer the rest of the questions. Oh, I think it's again difficult for us to sketch them. So let's do one thing. Okay, let me sketch anyway. It's difficult, but let's sketch. Let's don't bother about the scale. Assume that it is the scale is different. I will just write here pi here. Okay, and then I'm just changing the scale. Please note. Okay, we roughly sketch it. We will try to roughly sketch it. Okay, so now where is the original spectrum? Originally spectrum is from where to where it goes. Where to where it goes, the original spectrum. This one. Minus 4 pi by 3 to 4 pi by 3.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that will be from 4 pi by 3 means it's
Between pi to 2.
yeah. So right. So it's it won't be that height. Okay. So this is minus 4 pi by 3 to 4 pi by 3. Okay. And this green one, where does the green one lies? Or the pink one, let us sketch first. Where does the pink one lies? Yeah, it will be around minus
Minus 4 pi.
right, minus 4 pi. Minus 4 pi plus 4 pi by 3 to minus 4 pi plus 4 pi by 3. Correct? Also, it will be something like this. Okay, I'm just roughly sketching. Correct? I hope you people understand what I'm sketching. And then the green one, around again 4 pi. Like this. Correct? And where does the repeated ones around? Say, I will sketch with this. Around 2 pi it will be. Okay, but what is this stretch of them? Of same duration. Hope you people understand what I'm sketching here. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now what is the reason that say this from here to here, if you see, so this is what the reason which is not aliased. Okay. So it's already say previously minus 2 pi by 3 is here. Okay. So so minus, say if you see in this scale, minus 2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3 is the reason where it is not aliased. Okay. But this is for omega dash or not for like for the downsampled signal. XD e power j omega. Okay. In x of e power j omega, if we see,
Minus 2 pi by 6 to pi by 6.
yeah, it's essentially minus 2 pi by 6 or minus pi by 3, 2 pi by 3. Okay, in omega scale. Okay, so you have actually aliased in free spectrum only from minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. Okay, but however, if you initially apply a filter, okay, see previously what you have seen, for a downsampling by 2, you can avoid the aliasing, okay, up to pi by 2. So even here you can do the same. Initially, if you apply a filter, okay, ranging from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, okay, and cut the frequencies or delete the frequencies from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, like beyond minus pi by this side of minus pi by 2 and the other side of pi by 2, then you will not have aliasing. Okay, so what essentially is I am trying to say here is, like x of e power j omega having no aliasing doesn't guarantee that xd of e power j omega, okay, will not have aliasing. Fine. So even if the original signal x of e power j omega is not aliased, xd of e power j omega can be aliased. The reason being, we are decreasing the sampling frequency. Okay. And as per the Nyquist rate, we may not be meeting in the xd of e power j omega. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to quickly establish a relation in the like what should be the sampling rate to avoid aliasing. Okay, even if we are downsample by m times. Okay, so the question is this. So if I have actually say a signal x of t continuous time signal. Okay, if I want to do sampling without aliasing, okay, what is the sampling rate? Fs has to be Nyquist frequency
Greater than the twice of maximum frequency available.
Fs has to be greater than or equal to we will write
Maximum frequency available.
yeah
present.
Fm okay, twice the maximum frequency in the signal. Now the question is, I want to later downsample by some m times. To avoid aliasing in XD of n, okay, what should be the sampling rate I should consider? This Nyquist rate, whatever I have written, is to avoid aliasing in the sample signal. Now the question is, what is the, say, sampling rate? What should be the fs dash? Okay, such that to avoid aliasing in downsampled signal. What is the condition for fs dash? To avoid aliasing.
Minimum of 2 FM.
It has to be
Minimum 2 MFF, I think.
yeah. Okay, because as you know, for this, the fs dash that the like the modified frequency. So or the say there is a stretch in the frequency domain indicating that okay, you the sampling like the maximum frequency will be by m times. So to avoid aliasing, what you need or to avoid aliasing is 2 into MFM. Okay, in other words, what we can do is in terms of say TS is the sampling period for this, sampling period for this, and this is TS into M. Okay, is the sampling period for this, right? So what we want to do to avoid aliasing here, fine. Essentially in the original signal has to be sampled. Okay, so m times more number of samples, okay, than xn of n, x of n. Right? Is this clear? To see, because anyway the effect of downsampling is of the like x of n is to stretch by m times, okay, and then repeat. So to avoid aliasing after downsampling, the original sampling rate, okay, fs has to be greater than or equal to 2 times 2 into m times fs or fm. Okay, 2 into m times fm. Is this clear or not? Is this clear? See, we know that anyway we will be downsampling, right? So if we downsample, okay, the sampling rate further decreases by m times. Since we know that the downsampling rate anyway decreases by m times, initially itself we should have the sampling frequency has to be m times higher to avoid aliasing in the downsampled signal. Okay. So hope this is clear. So otherwise what will happen? Downsampling happens. Now just to get an idea. So if we want to have actually a signal which is ranging from say pi by 3 to minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. How many times do you think I can downsample without having the aliasing? So this is the discrete signal, x of e power j omega is plotted here. Okay, and this is omega axis. This is x of n. How many times do you think we can downsample such that there is no aliasing even after downsampling? What is the answer? What is the maximum that avoids aliasing even after downsampling?
6.
6. Do you think I can downsample by 6 times?
3, sir.
3.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay,
3,
so-
sir.
so that there is no, because see, essentially, ideally, if you see, this spectrum can go from say minus pi to pi, right? So it's even after stretching the spectrum, if it goes from minus pi to pi, okay, there is no aliasing that happens.
Yes, I was confused with 0 to 2 pi range actually.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why.
fine. So that's what is this indicates. But if that doesn't happen, see, for example, in the original signal previously in this signal, okay, it is not following. That actually, see, if I stretch, say previously itself, goes from going from minus 2 pi by 3 to 2 pi by 3. If I downsample by 2 times, it will move from minus 4 pi by 3 to plus 4 pi by 3. Okay, and then it is crossing the minus pi to pi, and aliasing is happening. So to avoid aliasing here, we can apply a low pass filter a priori. Okay, and then that means x of n can be sent through a low pass filter and limited frequencies, then downsample by 2 times. Okay, so in that case, this x of n can be sent through a low pass filter, and then you can apply a downsampling to avoid aliasing in this case as well, right? In this case, what is the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter? That will avoid aliasing by even after downsampling by 2 times. Any idea on this? What is the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter I can apply such that there is no aliasing here?
Pi by 3.
Oh, pi by 3?
Yes, sir.
Why pi by 3? See, even if I had previously here, did I apply any low pass filter?
No, sir.
Then?
Sir, because without any filtering, the maximum component that was not aliased was
Yeah, the reason here being only pi by 3 we could get is because these are also spilling over. See, this side also spilling over. This side also spilling over. Okay, because of this, you are having more aliasing effect. If this doesn't spill over here, there is no aliasing effect that happens. So, if you initially limit, then the spillover from this side can be reduced, avoided. So, the filter that essentially, what essentially we need is that actually the frequency content after downsampling should be from minus pi to pi. After stretching by m times should be from minus pi to pi. Okay. So for that, the low pass filter has to be from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That's all. If you just limit this by low pass filter of minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and then sketch, okay, that you do is it as a homework. Take this spectrum and then you downsample this same spectrum and then first apply low pass filter, and this is a X filtered. Okay, X filtered spectrum you sketch and then downsample by 2. See how the spectrum is. Is aliasing happening or not? Just check. Fine. So now the next question is, if I want to do downsampling by 3 times, okay, what do you think the up to which frequency should I limit such that there is no aliasing in the downsampled signal? Any answer for this? Quick answer. I will be winding up the discussion with this.
Pi by 3, sir.
Oh, right. Oh, minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. Because if I limit from minus pi by 2 to 3 pi by 3, okay, what happens? I am anyway downsampling by 3. Stretching will be by 3 times. Okay, so this will go only from minus pi to pi, and the next spectrum also goes from minus pi to pi around 2 pi. Okay, and hence no aliasing happens. In fact, this will go from 4 pi, around 4 pi minus pi to pi. Even the repeated spectrum will be minus pi to pi around 3 pi. Okay, and no aliasing happens. Is this okay? What I would suggest is, as a homework, just for exercise, take the advantage of the discussion that we had today. Okay, and in one stretch, telling all the things probably will be more difficult for you and as well as for me. Up to here, try to understand. Then what the exercise, the homework is. Okay, for this case, so these are the 2 different cases that we have not discussed here. Case 2 and case 3. X of n low pass filtered by minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, downsampled by 2. What is the spectrum? Sketch all the spectrum at all levels. Okay, so x of e power j omega. Okay, what's it here? What's it here? Okay, frequency spectrum. Okay, at all levels you need. Similarly, the spectrum at all these locations. Okay, what's the spectrum here? Assume that x of e power j omega is same, whatever I had here. Okay, and then what is the spectrum here? What is the spectrum here? Okay. So you take a simpler example like this x of e power j omega is like this. Okay, and then make downsampling by 3 times here and sketch the spectrum xd of e power j omega. Okay, this is third exercise. Okay, I consider these 3 as the exercises before you come to the next class. Okay, so 3 exercises here. I will probably send the notes. Okay, this week lecture and notes. So say one exercise is when you apply low pass filter by different minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 and minus pi by 3 to pi by 3 and apply subsequently downsampling by 2 and 3 times. What are the spectrums at all intermediate stages? Second thing is you take this like initial spectrum as minus pi by 2 to pi by 3 only. Okay, this signal and for that downsample by 3 and sketch the spectrum. Will you be able to do this? Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you try and do it. Even if it is wrong, doesn't matter. I would like to see your notes. Okay, in the next class. In fact, it is good if you upload also. Meanwhile, find them. So lab sheet now. I would suggest that you can do now first 2 questions in the lab sheet. You may not be able to do all the questions in the lab sheet, but start with that so that you will get some idea. So in the next lab, we will discuss further on the rest of the aspects. So hope Suravardhan might have shared with you the lab sheet. In fact, I have a good notes or my notes at least. Okay, on the multi-rate signal processing. Okay, that in fact on the filter design as well. I will pass on those notes to you. Okay, so you can anyway go through that notes in detail and understand these things. Okay, with all the description that I might have given there. Okay, so there are some examples, all those things there. Okay, so other than that lab sheet, let me see if I can very quickly discuss the first 2 questions. Okay, first question is exactly same that we have done in the last labs. So I'm not discussing it. Okay, so it's like filtering only, nothing else. Okay, the second question is on the downsampling. Okay, initial frequency is 5 Hz. And then if you downsample by 5 times, okay, or how many times? 4 times, then the frequency will be how much? If you downsample by 4 times, the time will be increased by 4 times, but the what's the initial sampling frequency? 40 Hz. Initial sampling frequency is 40 Hz. This one you downsample by 4 times. Okay, so the frequency, downsampled frequency will be after downsampling, the frequency of the signal will be, or FS will be how?
1.25.
No, 40 to
10.
10.
Okay, the FS dash will be 10. Okay, based on that, you need to see whether aliasing happens or not. Okay, so FS equal to 10, 40 may not do aliasing in the signal, but FS equal to 10 will do aliasing. Okay, that's the other way you can notice whether aliasing happens or not. And then to avoid aliasing, you need to apply a filter. How much should be the filter? Again, minus pi to pi it should correspond to. So what do you mean by pi? In hedges, you need to see, and based on that, you need to apply the filter. And just think of try doing this questions 1 and 2. Okay, if you can't do 2 also, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I will give one more lab time for you. Okay, so probably it appears that, okay, in the next lab, if we go a little faster, we can complete the whole multi-rate in 2 labs. Otherwise, we can take even up to 3 labs. So maximum that we can take. Okay, for the completion of this lab sheets. This is one lab sheet. We have another lab sheet also multi-rate. So with that, the lab will be over. Okay, our advanced signal processing lab will be done. So subsequent labs are planned for either exams or for mini project presentations. So if you have any question, you please ask. Otherwise, I will probably leave now. Okay. Fine then. If there are no questions, bye from my side. Yeah, thank you. I am putting Suravardhan as co-host or host. I am leaving. Bye.